Something's got to change. This is, I believe, the first time in NPBF history that I've been in the league that I've had a negative differential. It's only -1, but even still, it's the first time this has ever happened to me. And I've also lost 2 matchups that should have been, on paper, automatic wins for me. Losing to Alex and the Giratinas, that was a foregone conclusion. That was pretty much going to happen no matter what. But losing to Gavino in week 2, and then losing to Anthony this past week, something's got to change. And I think it's how
AT&T presents RTX
I've...
this year. Thanks to AT&T
Sorry,
5G.
did not mean to hit that. I was trying to hit something else on my phone. My apologies. Anyways, I think it's just how I had my team built and designed. Certain mons I just had trouble fitting in the matchups because they just didn't have good enough coverage to do anything, or even if they were bulky, they just didn't have enough bulk or enough spread around bulk to be effective. And also when it came to the rain mode, which I don't particularly like. I've never been shy about saying that I'm not a huge fan of using weather. And unfortunately with mono water, I'm basically shoehorned into either I use rain or I'm going to struggle a lot. Rain is like my key strategy that I need to implement as much as possible. So, unfortunately, as much as I'm not a fan of the situation, I do have to use the rain. I was originally, when I decided I wanted to make changes to the team, I was going to scrap 90% of the rain aspect. I was going to keep just Pelipper and Kingdra, and that was it. I was going to completely scrap all the rain aspects of my team and go from there. But unfortunately, I was talking to a couple other people and just venting out my frustrations. They were like, I think it's not so much a matter of the rain, it's a matter of what you have for the rain. And that makes a little bit more sense. Like, I still don't like using rain. I don't like playing with weather. It's just not a thing that I've ever enjoyed using. I've tried it many different times in many different scenarios, and it's just never really fit my playstyle. But I like to have a little bit more diversity in how I can build. And I felt like with the rain core that I had, I didn't really have much room for it. First of all, having more than one setter on paper sounded great to me. Having both Pelipper and Politoed available as options. One could take certain hits better than others. One can actually live an electric move with a Wakan Berry, and the other one can't really 90% of the time. It made sense on paper when I built the team. But it also made the team a bit clunky. Because it basically made it so it's either I bring both of them, and I have 2 Mons fulfilling the exact same role in the exact same game, and that's not particularly great. Or I bring one of them, and then the other one's just not going to show up, because it's not going to do anything. It has no real role to fulfill within the game. So then, what am I meant to do there, So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I needed rain abusers that I could do more with, that can function outside of the rain as well, better, in my opinion. So, Kingdra, I believe, is going to stay. That is a mon that I feel very strongly about for this team. I feel like it has a lot of potential for us. So I'm not going to be getting rid of Kingdra. I'm very, very set on using Kingdra. I feel like there's a lot more I can do with it. But Mega Swampert, as you can see, is no more. I personally, I know Mega Swampert is good. It hits incredibly hard in the rain and whatnot. But the 4x weakness is a pain enough as it is. But it's very much... how's I put? It's extremely one-dimensional. And its lack of coverage on the physical side is painful, to say the least. I know you're probably thinking, it doesn't really need a lot of coverage. And that's a perfectly fine opinion to have. But when it comes to Draft League, it makes Mega Swampert that much easier to deal with, right? Everyone can look at my team and look at Mega Swampert and be like, alright, I know exactly what I can wall this with. And they can pick any one specific mon on their team to just hard wall Mega Swampert and not care. It wouldn't even be that hard. Right? So, that's problematic, as it is. That's certainly a problem. And one that I needed to address. So, getting rid of Mega Swampert was the first step to fixing my team to better be used by me. Okay? The next step was I'm dropping Politoed. Now, I dropped Politoed because Pelipper, I feel very strongly, is the better of the two rain setters for the team. Because it has reliable recovery with Roost. It has U-turn from Momentum. It can defog, which is extremely important. So, with all of that in mind, it fills so many more roles. It fills so many more roles on the team than just, I'm here to set up the rain. Politoed is, in my opinion, I feel it's way too passive of a mon to be properly effective. I can't get anywhere with Politoed. Ads on my phone being stupid. Anyways. Politoed just doesn't really... it doesn't help me in a lot of scenarios. Yes, alright, I got the Whirlpool Parasong strat off. What did it cost me? Right? Politoed is bulky, but it's not that bulky. And it basically cost me my rain setter for that game. Which was very far from a good idea. Just want to put that out there. Definitely did not need to go for that strat when I did. But that is something that I did, and I regret it now, obviously. But regardless, it cost me my rain setter. And I truly feel that Politoed itself just isn't as good. So, Politoed is gone. Pelipper will be our sole rain setter for the team. If that means that Pelipper comes every single week, that's fine. I can make Pelipper work every single week. I can build Pelipper to work in every single matchup without any fail. Right? Politoed was a lot more difficult. And especially because in a lot of our matchups, we struggled on the physically defensive side, and Politoed just doesn't provide that, as you can clearly see. It's only a base 75 physical defense. It needs to be max to take some hits. You know? Now, the last of the first three mons we're dropping, because this is only the first wave. I'm definitely going to be making more changes in the coming weeks, more than likely. It's just going to be a matter of, like, which changes I decide to make when. Because I definitely feel like there's other things I definitely want to switch around with my team. I'm just not entirely sure if I'm going to go through with it yet. But the next mon we're dropping is actually going to be Suicune. Now, I was really excited to pick up Suicune because I've used Suicune a bunch in the past. I used Suicune to win a championship in another league that I'm in. This past season, I pressure stalled somebody at one point in the season as well, down to struggle. So, like, I know how to use Suicune. I know how to use it properly. But with how this team is, it just didn't. Every time I tried to build with it, every time I tried to get a set together, it wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking with the team. It didn't have the right synergy. It wasn't doing enough damage. It wasn't living the hits comfortably enough for me to feel good enough to bring it. And that was a problem. So I needed to get rid of it to put myself in the best possible situation I could with something that is a little bit bulkier and has a little bit more room to move. Because again, Suicune is a very one-dimensional Pokemon. Like, everyone knows what Suicune does and does best. And I feel like I need something a little bit more diverse, if that makes sense. Because I haven't really been enjoying this season at all. I have not been having fun. And maybe it's just that I don't like Monotite, maybe it's just that I don't like using weather, or maybe it's a combination of both. I'm not entirely sure, but the season just has not clicked with me. So I needed to make these changes to at least give the season the best possible shot I can, and hopefully pull ourselves out of this ridiculous slump that we're in. So, the first of our new mons is the bulky replacement for Suicune, and that is going to be Jormungand, the Milotic. Obviously, Jormungand is the world serpent in Norse mythology, but Milotic is a beautiful, majestic creature, so that's why I call it Jormungand. I know it's not spelled properly. I've had people like call it out in the past. It's like, I know that. I know it's a reference, not supposed to be the actual world's. People just need to chill, man. People just need to chill. Anyways, what Jormungand provides me is insane bulk. First of all, monstrous bulk. 95 HP, 125 SpDef. That's 79 defense. Doesn't look good on paper, but with Marvel Scale and a Flame Orb, this thing is nigh impenetrable. I've literally sat a Milotic in front of many opponents, and it literally just sits there and doesn't care and doesn't die. That's what Milotic is good for, and that's what Milotic will do here for us. I have used Milotic many times. I've always loved using Milotic, and I'm very happy that I ended up picking it up here once again. So, yeah, this thing has a lot of potential to be extremely bulky. It doesn't need type effectiveness berries in a lot of cases to live certain hits. Which is very nice. And it has access to things like Mirror Coat. It has access to potential setup moves and like Coil and such like that, which could be interesting. Reliable recovery with Recover, which is something that I sorely lacked with Suicune. I really wish Suicune had some form of reliable recovery that wasn't Rest. Because, like, Rest is fine, it gets rid of statuses and stuff, and I get that. But it's either I run Sleep Talk, right? I run Sleep Talk and, you know, I try to get something going those 2 turns and hope that I get lucky and get moves that are actually useful. Or I just have a sleeping dog for 2 turns that does nothing. That just sits there and tries to tank hits, and then I have to rest again afterwards because now it's already in range to be KO'd again. So, like, that's kind of the situation here. At least this thing has reliable recovery. It can sit in front of things forever, not die, and whittle things down appropriately. Nab some Scald Burns, Dragon Tail, or Haze some setup sweepers, stuff like that. It has so much more that it can do for me that I feel very, very strongly that Jormungand is the way to go here. Next up, I grabbed a replacement for Mega Swampert, actually, in a sense, because it is also a Swift Swim user that is a water ground type that became kind of like a defensive staple in Gen 8, in OU, due to things like, Drakefish and such running around. I'm really surprised that this was never picked up by anybody. I'm really surprised that this wasn't picked up in the draft somewhere, shape, or form, but I'm not mad at it. But we got Zitz, nice Battletoads reference, the Seismitoad. Now, Seismitoad does have Swift Swim, right? Which is also, like, super important. It is slightly faster than Swampert, which is also cool. So that little bit of extra speed is very, very beneficial to us, in a lot of ways. So that's really cool, having a little extra speed. It's more of a mixed attacker. So what's important about that is, like, with Mega Swampert, you could run special moves, but running a special move over something like Earthquake or Waterfall or something along those lines was a misplay, because there's such a massive difference between offensive stats that you're basically handicapping your own Mon in that sense, right? So with Seismitoad, base 95 attack, base 85 special attack, and, like, decently hard hitting moves on both sides, it's definitely effective. It's much more effective as a mixed attacker. So that's really cool. It also has access to knockoff, which is very good. Its potential water immunity for any other water types my opponents might have snagged from me through the draft. So that's also important to note. And just overall, I feel like this Mon can do a lot more. It's a stealth rocker that, like, I don't feel... Like, bringing Stealth Rocks on Mega Swampert, I felt almost guilty doing so, right? Because, like, I want... Mega Swampert's there to just do damage. And I'm bringing Stealth Rocks on it. That doesn't feel right to me. It felt weird. I ran it... I don't remember which week I ran it, but it just didn't feel right. I didn't feel right in clicking that move. So, this one, however, is prominently known as a Stealth Rocker. He does typically run Stealth Rocks, so this just kind of felt right. So, at least this gives us a more reliable, more normal Stealth Rocker for the team. One that will more likely run Stealth Rocks than anything, most of the time, which is good. I like that I can run Stealth Rocks now, like, without feeling dirty. Now that did feel, it felt wrong. So, cool stuff. I know I'm rambling at this point. I'm sorry. But, now I have a good Stealth Rocker, which is awesome. Awesome. And then I came to the situation where I had to replace my Mega. And I was looking at all the different Megas that water types, have access to. And there was just one that just did it for me. I was looking at all of them, like, Mega Blastoise, right? Would have been cool. But, like, Mega Blastoise would have been cool. But we also banned Shell Smash. That was something that we did. Mega Blastoise cannot use Shell Smash, which is fair because it was banned in National Dex as well. So, logically, that would make sense, right? So, we banned that, so I didn't really feel like using it. And I've used Mega Blastoise plenty times in the past. It's nothing new now outside of, like, the speed boosts from Rapid Spin, which would be kind of interesting, but I wasn't too keen on it. Could have used Mega Sharpedo. Get a speed boost off, don't have Mega Turn 1. Like, Strong Jaw, smack them real hard. Psychic Fangs and shit. Really fucking rip through them. Has access to Flip Turn, I believe, now, which is really nice. So, that's pretty cool stuff, right? No. Wasn't feeling it. Could drop Mega Slowbro. I could just wait and then drop Mega Slowbro, right? Or drop regular Slowbro and get Mega. That could be interesting. Keep it as a regen mon, throughout most of the game, and then wait till everything's kind of whittled down, and then set up with Mega Slowbro and body press my way through things, because that base 180 defense, I think it is, or some shit like that. I know it's not base 180. I'm 99% sure it's not base 180. If it is, then I'll be shocked, but I don't remember exactly what it sits at. Come on, show me base stats. Show me base stats. Oh, it is 180 defense. Wild. 180 defense plus body press? That shit would be wild. That should be crazy. But I decided against it, which leaves me with one option. We have Daedalus, the Mega Gyarados. Now, I haven't used Mega Gyarados for a while, but I've seen what Mega Gyarados can do, and Mega Gyarados is, in my opinion, one of the most destructive Megas in the game of Pokemon. First off, it loses its 4 times weakness to Electric when it Mega Evolves, which is super important for Gyarados. Secondly, it gains so much more natural bulk. Like, Gyarados already has crazy good bulk, right? So, like, sitting now at, like, 95, 109, 130, that is bulk incarnate. Which gives me a little bit more room to work with when it comes to, like, I can run more offensive sets, or if I run a little bit more HP and stuff, I can bulk my way through a lot of things and still set up in their face. Because with base 155 attack, I don't really need a lot of investment sometimes in order to run through a team. Some weeks I might have to run max to make sure I can really, like, rip holes through shit. But not all the time. That's not going to be the case. So Mega Gyarados is really good. Plus, what's really cool, especially from a team building standpoint, I don't have to What's really fun is I can make sure that I get the right ability every week, because sometimes when you build your Mega Evolutions, right, you build it as the Mega itself because of the stat changes, right? Sometimes they change speed and stuff, right? You build it as the Mega Evolution, and then you might not have, like, an ability you might have wanted, one of its original abilities, prior to. Like, I've had it happen before with Mega Sharpedo. I forgot to set it to be Speed Boost, so it had Rough Skin, right? Or I've done it with... I'm trying to think which one it was. I think it was Audino, and, like, my regular Audino had Healer or something, and I wanted it to have Regen because I wanted it to be able to switch around throughout the game before I Mega Evolved it. Like, I've had it happen many times before. With this, with the fact that it doesn't gain any extra speed when it Mega Evolves, that's important. because I can just build the set. Like, I can run the calcs as Mega Gyarados, but I can just build the set as regular Gyarados and specify which of the abilities I want, whether I want Intimidate or Moxie or whatever. That's very important, like a nice little ease in team building kind of thing that I appreciate, and I'm really looking forward to utilizing. Plus, Mega Gyarados is just fucking awesome. It's just fucking cool. So, those are the changes to the team. I'm still not entirely sure if I'm going to make more. I think it's very possible. But, these changes will be effective for our Week 7 match against Dave and the Atlanta Dragonites. So, just keep your eyes peeled for those. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Dave is a solid player, and we've always had kind of like a super friendly rival. Like, he's a really, really good friend of mine. We always had kind of a little bit of a sibling-ish rivalry between the two of us. But we'll see if that will translate to our matchup. It's going to be very, very wild. His steel types are going to be very interesting to try and take down, so really looking forward to it. But with that being said, I've rambled for way, way too long in this video. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys are excited for the trades we've made for the Anaheim Appletons in NPBF this season, please make sure to leave a like down below. I wasn't even in the full corner. Jesus Christ. I didn't realize that until the end of the video. That's embarrassing. Please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.